Greetings everyone, Agion here with another best of 5 from the recent tournament replay. Spawn on the bottom left side as bottom right side I should say, as the British player we have Nagano, and his allies the Soviets we have Scotch. Spawn on the left side as the Axis players, DevM as OKW, and Austere as Luvnest. Something minor to note. I'm currently adjusting my recording settings, so it should be less impactful. Speaking of which, I need to ensure the stats are up to see how many frames I drop. Because I'm trying to record this without using a lossless, because I had to outright go out and purchase an external solid state drive in order to just save all these replays, because the last best of 5 I just recorded, it's still actually rendering, was well over 1 terabyte in each of the 5 games. We do got the student pioneers in a great position here. There's only 2 windows on that side. There is a third window, but however I don't think it can fire yet. We don't see it actually firing. But given enough time that these Snow Pioneers will be cleaned up. The combat engineers, yes, he's actually going to skirt around the edges to pitch in some more damage. Though he has to be very careful, he's on negative ground, but there's only 2 models left. Relatively safe engagement. And where's the music?
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
He's a bit quiet. I know the music's still enabled.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Sturm Pioneers are trying to capture up that point, but they are pretty low on health and manpower, so it's unlikely. We got the MG42 set up. Will retain some directional heavy cover. Grenadiers, however, did manage to get one of the models of the intersection. I think they're only in light cover right there, rather than the heavy cover as the Grenadiers. Actually, exactly at maximum range of one of the models, and it looks like now they're just generally at maximum range. MG42's 3 positioning looks like eyeing behind this ruined truck, and he has to be very careful. He is just outside the radius, and he will actually go in the radius. It's exactly what the Austere player wants to see, though he doesn't suppress within the first burst. It can be like a 50-50 chance at that range of suppress within the first burst. It's actually a bit more reliable than 50-50. Grenadiers now forced on back, just seeing too much damage. We do got the conscripts eyeing to engage, but the MG42 was not distracted and was able to unleash its full might against the conscripts. We do got the Grenadiers getting inside this building. Not exactly a great building to fight from, because there is only 1 window here. I'm never really sure if this actually applies point blank or not, being up close like that. Probably should test that. Ooh, that wound unit is super wounded. And he will go ahead and escape on out. We do got a Flamer Squad. 2 engineers are actually out. And we got a Buchananwiffer on the queue for the OKW player. There's actually 4 windows on the side, so he has to make sure to position just right. He could, hopefully the Pioneer, the combat engineer will hit the Sturm Pioneer. Oh, this is going to be a bad retreat. That's going to be sustaining a lot of damage. Conscripts over here. Combat engineers forced back. Do get a bit tied up. They are in risk of getting wiped, but I believe there's enough firepower here to work. Oh, no, he does go down. A little bit lucky, but actually quite a bit of good play of body blocking them upon the retreat. And a nice little pickup, but he still has a combat engineer, so it's not a huge loss, but he's still able to build mines and other things of that sort. But losing a Flamer Squad like that's just still not something you want to do. We do actually have multiple doctrinal lock-ins. We do got Overwatch Doctrine, Lightning War, 2 common doctrines, as well as a little bit more uncommon now, Tactical Support Regiment. Will we see the air resupply operations? We do have the MG42 eyeing to focus on the intersection here. We'll get a nice... No, he doesn't get a full burst off, and now he's not behind heavy cover. He won't sustain as much suppression. And the units forced on back. We got the Buchananwiffer here, sort of misrallied, went behind the line of sight blocker, which is something you don't want to do. Does decrew the the MG42 entirely, but will have units nearby to secure it up. Grenadier's eyeing to re-secure it, does drop it, pick it up without losing a model. Grenade does get thrown out, and pretty good focus firing, killing off the models one by one, and potentially will outright capture this MG42. There's a whole lot of squads here. That's a free MG42. Overall, the Allied players have played this game quite well. Also decrews the Vakennenwerfer. So many squads here. He has to risk capturing the squad, but this gets decrewed once again. Ooh. And they pass up Vakennenwerfer and MG42. Sturm Pioneer may actually go down. Does not, however. Mechanized HQ has received some wounding. I'm not sure if he actually saw it or not. I think a bullet was a stray bullet that got that wounding action. But overall, I thought the Axis players were in a good position, but it looks like the Allies have really pushed forward, getting 2 free squad weapons. Were they both secured by the Brit players? So Nagano squad love these extra squads to work with, or not have to build his own squads. More likely. You got Puma out on the queue. Definitely a hard counter to the universal carrier. Can't rely on the Vakennenwerfer anymore because he doesn't have it. On the Austere side, we do have a 251. A bit of an unusual option to see. He could potentially jump inside to get some passive healing. You can jump inside, while it won't reinforce while inside, but with only one model left to reinforce, next time I hop out, we'll instantly get that model. Just a bit of a time save issue idea. Running the extra Bren gun's not firing just the Vickers light machine gun, but will be very outgunned by these 2 squads here. And he has no weapon upgrades whatsoever. He's probably going to save for the G43s. MG42 firing inside this building will suppress the Grenadiers. Pioneers need to get... Oh, wait, I was going to say he should jump inside the Flame half-track and use it to get close. But no, he has actually the Flamer upgrade as well. So lots of firepower, coming out of the Austere player. Uma is out on the field. We have seen the shock, so the last doctrine has been locked in. Shock Rifle Frontline Tactics, a very common doctrine. You get shocks and IS-2. What more do you want? Just a bit added bonus of getting stealth AT guns and incendiary barrages. Both very nice. The least useful thing is KV-8, and that's still a good unit. But you guys snare out on top of the Puma, and it looks like the Vakennenwerfer may have nailed the 251 a couple times. Where might it be? Right here. Which probably explains the fire. The structure is actually quite wounded. Or smoldering, I should say. Not exactly on fire just yet. Wonder if that was from the probably not from 251. Was it from the combat engineers from earlier? Grenade does come on out. Does do a nice dodge. He could have actually just continued walking back to this heavy cover right here. He has a lot of fallback heavy cover. Now the G43s will pitch in some great damage at this close range. Walking in close was probably a bad idea. Probably should stay back here behind this tractor. Mortar team, ooh, that was a good shot. The squad is prone to getting wiped, even though there's only 2 models. And does not get them wiped. He probably should fall back in order to reinforce the squad. We do got 2 Grenadiers here. He doesn't have enough for more munitions. I think he just queued up one on this squad, yep. We do have a rebuilt MG42. It's sort of interesting he went for both mortar and 251. Both just sort of fills the same role in order displacing that, what's it called? As a role of anti-garrison. The Vakennenwerfer does set up, but doesn't get shot off. He could circle around with these heavy cover here is preventing sort of movement. Another landmine hit by the Puma. Or maybe not another. The first time was a snare. MG34 walking way too close to that infantry section. And we got shock troops here as well as conscripts. The Sturm Pioneers should throw a stun grenade. Molotov coming on out, so we do see Molotov tech research, and we do got a full retreat by the OKW player. We do got the MG42 from his teammate, AT gun, and the cannon woofer here in the center of the map. Suppression also coming down by this MG34 and this MG34. Dual MG34s really eyeing for the suppression. Shock troops can deal with them with the smoke, but if there's two of them, there's a lot of angles to cover. Looks like the 5-man squad will pan out. And the Grenadiers do force back that squad. Universal Carrier is still alive. What does the OKW player have? We saw the two MG34s trying to hit the squad behind the sandbags. Will take some time before they get suppressed. We do got tier 3 going on up, and we do of course have tier 2. No AEC research. I guess having access to your opponent's cannon woofer could alleviate the need for one. Folks, and getting a long range. Looks like it's clearing out some debris there. Looks like the light cover is coming from here. Sometimes when you use that to clear debris, it takes time for the stuff to actually disappear depending on the item. Looks like the 251, no, the Universal Carrier received pretty good damage, and the Puma does take out the Universal Carrier.
One of our universal carriers has been destroyed.
Nice little pickup, but not... The Axis players are still a bit behind, I would say. Field control is still heavily in favor of the Allies.
They're trying to take it.
T-70 coming on the build queue. Unusual option, seeing he already knows his opponent has a Puma. An Su-76 probably could have been a better option if you want AT to count to the Puma. Another big cannon on the build queue. Mortar team pitching some wounding actions. Do got MG42 here suppressing both these squads. Doom Pioneers actually not jumping in that building. I thought they were. Grenade does... Oh, I heard the term grenade. Didn't see a grenade. Perhaps it was already detonated. It looks like the Axis players are both focusing on the left side, trying to They are re-securing that fuel. It's more of on their opponent's side of the map. This one's generally more fitted to the top side of players. But do got some conscripts here in heavy cover. Do also got some mines here. And this Volk squad could get wiped by this mine, depending on the conscripts getting models. This squad may have been left out to dry. We'll just keep that there. We do have a grenade does come out on one of the MG34s, but quite a bit of suppression coming on down. The shock troops are forcing back. Yep, it does actually get wiped out. Did get forgotten about. And we do have the Sturm Pioneers now engaging at close range, though the Sturm Pioneers are pretty wounded. That conscript squad could potentially get wiped. The MG's not terrible on the Puma, and does get wiped quite quickly, actually. 6-pounder does find the Puma, but is be far away from getting killed. There is a shoe mine here? Yes, there is a shoe mine here, as well as a teller, so there's multiple mines by the Axis players in this sector. Mortar team will be collapsed upon. There's actually 2 mortars here. That's a bit unusual. He had the flame half-track. Looks like he actually went down, probably to the AT guns. I think that's wreckage there. Or was it the Universal Carrier? Looks a bit bulky to be the Universal Carrier, but who knows with wreckages. We do have a full Cromwell out, so we do got the first medium tank out. The Soviet player does... Looks like he actually teching up again. T-70, I didn't see what happened to it. Does have damaged engine. I think it was maybe a shoe mine based on how much damage. And we got a Katusha coming on out. So we have a Cromwell and Katusha this early. The Axis players, they are far behind. Sure, Panzer Quarters is being set on up. He just has enough fuel for Panzer authorization. This Cromwell can be very problematic. The Austere player does have Battle Phase 2. The Cannon Warfare does connect. Puma does roll a bounce, but looks like he has penned one round before. There's a teller mine here. I think the Cromwell could get wiped by this teller mine based on... 240 versus 640. No, it will still make it. It has buff half health. But the Puma pitches another pen. It may actually kill it. Another snare on top of the Puma. Carmel engaging infantry. There is a Pack 40 here. It's a bit of a bad angle. I think that's a force fire ground as well. Conscripts over here getting pushed away by the T-70. I mean, Volks getting pushed away. Conscripts here are pretty wounded, and a number of Soviet landmines are on the ground. At least 3 when I double click. See that one, but I cannot see the others. Six-pounder rolls a miss. Oh, I just realized the Soviet player has control of the 6-pounder. Minor note. The Kenilworth does engage, does get a penetrating hit there, no problem, but it's going to get decrewed. Intersection does fall back, could still potentially get wiped, but unlikely. Carmel is being repaired by the Royal Engineers in middle combat, which is not super great, and some of these squads are being upgraded with LMGs, and actually this one Grenadier has been upgraded with... Oh, that's why he upgraded with MG42. He had a flamer to go along with it. I think the G43s require 2 open weapon slots in order for it to be upgraded. Rolls another miss. But this unit's severely wounded. Puma's trying to go on in, but it's way outgunned. Pack 40 sitting on up. Looks like one of the mortars went down to the Katusha barrage. Good penetrating hit there, but the Royal Engineers will prevent the Puma from pursuing. Does force fire, but rolls a miss. Multiple intersections are pretty wounded right now. The Royal Engineers could potentially grab themselves a mortar team. Always nice to have. There's 2 Royal Engineers here. The MG34 is trying to second up. This one is barely in arc, but does reposition. This one's also getting force fire. We do got a flaming squad here from the Soviet player. The MG34 may in fact go down, will in fact go down. And immediately trying to force fire, but he's going... he tried to resecure it, but lost too many models. Does get another penetrating hit there, but does resecure it in time. Overall, this game looks like it's going to go in favor of the Allies. And so far, I have not dropped a single frame. Oh, wait, nope. I will drop 20 frames out of 65,000. I think that's tolerable. Great amount of suppression coming on down. Forces both of those squads back. Carmel still wounded, unrepaired. We do got some combat engineers here, probably for repairs. And we do also got 2 squads of shock troops. We do also have Oberstdotsen out on the build queue. That is a lot of UKF infantry. We do have a Panzer IV out, as well as incendiary rounds on top of this MG42. Kenilworth trying to push on forward. Here, Katusha eyeing straight for the mortar teams. And guess that was all the rockets, or he's canceled. Good. Oh, that actually managed to get them into arc just barely. Panzer IV is exactly what the Austria player needs to get back in, but probably the next item he should probably build. He's not going to get the Tiger anytime soon, so probably a Stug or 2. The Okinawa player just may need to save up for Jagdpanzer. They have plenty. The Axis players have plenty of infantry. The Oberstdotsen is a pretty powerful squad as well. And good penetrating hit there from the Puma. Going straight on in, does get the kill. There is a TM35 mine here, so he has to be very careful where he's placing that AT gun. Karmo eyeing for some crushes. Actually just straight some knocking out the point, but does decrew the point. As for coming in to respond, we do got the 2 combat engineers here. And some incendiary grenade does come down on top from the shock troops. Smoke does come out in order to prevent line of sight, of course. Another frag gets thrown, though, by another squad of shock troops. There's so many shock troops. They can be quite hard to deal with, honestly. Three squads of Volk squad. Multiple squads have heavy cover. Incendiary grenades trying to displace them. Keep them out of heavy cover. And looks like the shock troops will be forced back. Dotson hadn't upgraded to MG34. There's plenty of munitions for... Oh, more mines. There's plenty of munitions for the austere player. You got the Teller mine just now being activated. Panzer IV. The Panzer IV is at half health. This thing can still take 2 shots from the Panzer IV. It does get some good hits there. Besides, not to pursue the Cromwell, it's probably for the best. Though, with our caster vision, we can see it's pretty vulnerable, but there are a lot of mines here, so yeah, it's probably a good idea not to dive it. He may be able to get the kill, but most likely he will lose it, his Panzer IV in the result. Two squads of combat or Royal Engineers will repair up a Cromwell quite quickly. Panzer IV not fully repaired. Looks like the Pioneer squad getting pushed around by the Panzer IV significantly. You can see 2 models here, 2 models there. Cromwell now fully repaired. I think the Panzer IV can only take 3 shots. Could take 4 before the 4th shot may cause death, but I really can't say. Big collapse upon by the Soviet player. Obusadotsid are now engaging at long range. Should prioritize the shock troops. We do see a frag coming on down, but it does do a nice dodge. But the Volksgrenadier has sustained too much fire. Rumo coming in the response. Can pitch in some damage, but most likely will get snared. No, he does not have enough munitions. We do have an IS-2 out on the field. Flamer Squad will displace the Sturm Pioneers over here. And mortars do decrew the MG42. No squads in order to recapture it, however. Panzer IV still not fully repaired. Does resecure the MG42, and I hear a Katusha. And that is a good spot for the Katusha. Does decrew the mortar team, but mostly due to the intersection, or was caused by the intersection. The Katusha was not decrewing anything. The Cannon Warfare does get a nice penetrating hit there. 2 shots. Ooh, 1 shot. Wow. Almost died. Uma is still alive, and we've got a Churchill Crocodile. That is something big for the Axis players to deal with. I don't think they can respond if they've been on the back foot for this entirety of the game. And this Crocodile will be very, very problematic. He does have 2 Pack 40s, but they're back at home.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. Our renovated HQ is ready, and heavy tanks are now available.
IS-2 coming on in. There is the Cannon Warfare here. The Puma could potentially get stun shot, or I think it would just jam the turret. No frag on top of the cannon whipper. I could have sworn there was going to be a frag. Be a great spot for it. They were quite stacked up. AT guns pitched in another pen onto the Puma, and the IS-2 is going to have free reign for quite some time. Aircraft flying around the command tank. He actually used the Friar Crocodile as the command tank. It's very resilient, and I believe the main gun reduced rate of fire only affects the actual cannon, not the flamethrower. So now the main gun, it's actually a defense weapon. But to be fair, the main gun's really the flamethrower.
The enemy are weakening. They're down to 100 points.
There is a teller mine here. Pioneer's going to be engaging at close range. Panzer IV is still alive. He has a bit of fuel. He does have Battle Phase 3. He just needs, oh, what, 3 minutes worth of fuel in order to get the Tiger tank out. The Tiger tank will be very problematic for the UKF player to deal with, but there's not a whole lot of tickets left. The Allied players can play a ticket game even in the sight of a Tiger.
We are down to 75 points.
Ramo going for the Panzer IV, I guess? It's a bit of unusual engagement, but we do got a nice rear armor hit. Panzer IV losing to sight and now regains sight. Pack 40 does engage at close range, multiple penetrations, and that is a dead Cromwell. Crocodile moving on forward. Pioneers looks going to get wiped. Most likely will get wiped. Yes, will get wiped.
The enemy only have 50 points left.
The combat buff from this nearby command tank is really helping out those
Ready to set a command vehicle.
Royal Engineers. Potentially could have got a snare or two and finish off the, what's it called? Oh, we do also got the super close air support. I don't think it's low enough to get killed off by it though. But the Puma is not going to go in. There's snares nearby. And a big miss right there in general. Let's get another hit there. Future Barrage coming on in. Get some great hits on the Vickenwerfer. Is it Vickenwerfers or Vickenwerfer for plural? And looks like the snares do come on in from the Royal Engineers. There's a lot of squads here, but there's a nice flanking squad of shock troops here to engage all these weapon teams, but does get suppressed by the MG-34 at the last moment. And pinned. IS-2s, however, going to disagree. Looks like the Zis is going to go ahead and force fire. Does destroy the Vickenwerfer.
10 points remain.
And the Axis players are down to the last 10 points. I don't think they come back. 2 points are still out of the reach. This 1 point is still being contested quite easily, though. And that it looks like they're going to go ahead and cast a GG. Overall, Nagano and Scotch must feel good about their pretty strong victory. I wouldn't say it'd be easy, but it definitely went in the favor. And soon we'll be at game number 2. And here we are in game number 2. Spawn on the bottom right side, now as the allies Luvnest and Insane DevM. And the Axis, Scotch and Nagano. Looks like Scotch will be the Austria player, Nagano will be the OKW, and Insane DevM will be the Soviet, and Luvnest as the UKF.
Infantry squad trained.
Looks like infantry section, and a little bit unusual for the Austria player, no MG42, just going straight for Grenadiers. Got 2 doctrines immediately being locked in, Guard Motor Coordination Tactics, and Mobile Assault Regiment.
We have a fresh Grenadier squad. Assembled and ready.
So far, no conflict. Throwing down some wire, trying to deny this building from his opponent. And will complete the wire in time. Does sustain a bit of damage, but largely a bunch of misses from the conscripts. For me, it always feels like wiring up these buildings is always unreliable, to say the least. It seems like whenever I wire off something, people can still go in, they just can't come out. Is it better to allow them go in or not? I really can't say. It all depends, I guess, on the matchup, engagements, and the placement of the building. And the Stone Pioneers will get overwhelmed quite quickly. Grenadiers going to be skirting around, trying to make sure he doesn't receive any additional fire from this building. But overall, at this close range and such wounded state, the Grenadiers are forced back. He could jump in this building himself. He sees it ungarrisoned, but I think he went into the wrong door or something. Because there's no door on this side. There is a door. Ah, the sandbags are there. So he blocked off one of the doors. There's only one door, and that's on this side. No Kubovagen. And we do see a Vickers. Conscripts engaging at pretty good range. Combat engineers are here to support, but they're a bit split up. Got conscripts over here. All the conscripts are pretty wounded. Does retreat back the squad nice and early. We do also have Volksgrenadiers up here. They're currently engaging these conscripts here. They're behind heavy cover, so it'll be hard to displace them. Though focus firing these two squads is probably a good idea. They're just dancing around, trying to find a good engagement angle, but retreating back that squad, it's very wounded. It could potentially get wiped. He's going for it, but nowhere near successful. And do also got a flamer pop. He immediately kills off a couple models. This is actually a higher threat squad, I guess. And now this Volk squad may need to fall back. We do got this Volk squad here. Pretty wounded. Do we? It's probably a bit too early to see med bunkers.
Supply half-track is ready for orders.
Grenadiers trying to capture this point, but behind the heavy cover, the intersections will be able to win out. No problem. Grenadiers here receiving way too much suppression fire. Does get forced back. Over here we do got these two squads. The Schumpeiters are pretty wounded, but they can capture up the squad, no problem. They also got swept up a minesweeper. Guess he's really expecting mines, seeing how many mines were laid last game. It's to be quite expected. Various squads of Volks here will easily overwhelm the infantry section. Over here we do have the Vickers. We do also have doctrinal lock-in of the German infantry. I see. It looks like we got a med bunker going down, as well as a light mechanized company. Medics being researched as well. A lot of conscripts here. These Volksgrenadier squad, however, will engage quite a bit of good damage, but now we do have a Flamer here. Does get pretty good AoE damage there and throws out an Cinder Grenade. May need to fall back the squad, probably now. And this squad is wounded as well. Does actually pull back this combat engineer a little bit too early, I would say. Probably could easily pitch in some more damage into the squad. Universal Carrier is out, is picking a couple models off of the Grenadier. And just force back the squad. 2 Flamers. That is going to provide a lot of good damage. Though he does lack a mine, so the Okinawa player could capitalize on the fact that his opponent doesn't have any mines, but he's probably going to save up munitions for STGs. He also really needs some medics. His ally could help him out. There are some medical crates down here, so we'll help him with this big retreat. Two will pitch in some good damage into the machine gun. Nice rifle grenade. Doesn't get a whole lot of hits. I think he fired it 2 inwards. Should have fired more towards these edge windows. In fact, firing it right here would be a great spot, or right here. Enough to splash 2 of these models severely, at least killing 1. And they as well as wounding the gunner. MG42 coming on the build queue. We do have the universal carrier way down here, as well as some mines coming on out. Ooh, it looks like we do got some flare traps coming on out, but will be spotted. He does have a minesweeper. It was cancelled, you can see, and the ability is not on cooldown. It has a very quick cooldown. It's about like like 5 seconds after you lay it down? Not even that, probably. A lot of Volk squads here, but there's a lot of conscripts as well. One of them is forced back to do some nice focus firing here. Both these conscripts are behind heavy cover. These Volks are behind heavy cover, as well as this squad here, but may have been at the maximum range. Nope, they're still in range. They could potentially get some flanking shots here if they move towards the open ground. He also probably should stop spending munitions on grenades. He was a bit grenade happy, preventing him from getting a whole lot of STGs. And the squad now moving on forward there's going to be some good focus firing. Conscripts are severely wounded right now, and looks like we've got a mass retreat. Do we see just the medical upgrade? No AT grenades, nor Molotovs. Oh, found the landmine. And looks like he went ahead and used the 2-2 to destroy that sandbag outright. If the sweeping of that mine, he can now sort of push forward in order to take on that 2-2-2, but he sees the AEC. So he's not going to push forward with the 2-2-2. We do got T-70 coming out on the build queue.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
The pioneers here are pretty wounded. And that squad could still potentially go down, but does not. Sandbags are almost destroyed. Perhaps you could just focus fire with them with the 2-2-2. So we've got the first 5-man squad have been researched. Rifle grenade does come on out. And does do a nice dodge. AC, however, does get a pitch and a nice shot onto the 2-2-2. And now we have the Puma. Both sides rolling a miss. And we do also have a mortar pit. A bit far away, the auto attacks can reach this VP if I were to select it. You can see the radius of the auto attacks. The barrages, however, can reach to here-ish. So he can barrage this point. The 2s here, 80 grenades are not. Which right there was not probably a scout out to see if he actually does have these grenades. He's assuming it. This conscript could off forward to bluff I've actually done that. So fun to actually bluff your opponent and thinking that you have AT grenades when you really don't. Either you choose not to, save up something else, or a lot of times for me, whoops, I forgot. We got a Brit mine here. MG34 engaging the conscripts. And that cover is outright destroyed, which actually is quite important because he's been making some good uses of that heavy cover. 2 moving on forward, no snares in the area. The Grenadier is getting quite wounded, and nice suppression coming from negative ground here, providing just the extra suppression. Is trying to get that Universal Carrier, does not get the Universal Carrier. He doesn't have enough manpower for Stormtroopers. AEC is trying to engage the 2-2. Does roll a miss there, however. And looks like he will not be able to call in Stormtroopers in order to finish off that 2-2 Universal Carrier. It's so wounded. It only has like a couple points of health. It's hard to say. Grenadiers in the heavy cover will provide some good defense, both sides in heavy cover, but I think the 5th man from the infantry section will pan out in the end. And it looks like we've got one last doctrinal lock-in of special operations. And with the 2nd squad coming in to reinforce, he does do an early retreat, which is probably a good idea. This point is still secured by the Allies. All 3 VPs are secured by the Allies. 2 now fully repaired. We do got the Puma here being repaired by the repairs from the HQ. And we got a Volcanic Warfare over here. Puma does spot the commandos, and they're currently doing the hold fire safe, but they won't be able to camouflage anytime soon since they're in combat. The Puma has extended camouflage detection radius, doesn't it? I honestly sort of forget. Over here we do got multiple frags coming on out. I think it's from the grenade assault of the infiltration tactics. Mortar pit pitching some damage. Oh, that was a deadly hit. Puma moving on in, but this could be a trap. Oh, he's going back up, bait him the trap. T-70 does get a nice hit in there. The AC could push forward. T-70 could push forward. And looks like both sides are just going back off. Grenadiers engaging, doing some good damage at long range. 2-2 could potentially go ahead and bully around the squad. The AEC is wounded. This Faust will come out. And main gun destroyed. The 2-2 could go in for a kill of either of these things. And there it goes to the Pack 40. Losing the AEC like that is a bit problematic. And now the Universal Carrier will go down as well.
Emplacement destroyed by the enemy.
Oh, the Puma could detonate the mine if the T-70 is in the wrong spot. And it looks like he destroyed the sandbags. Not sure if that was a new set. The previous set were pretty wounded, so I think that was a new set. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at teching. We have no sheer panzer quarters. We have no SWS half-track. We do have a medical bunker for both players. We do got battle phase 2, no structures, however. We do got the company command post just completed. And we do also have mechanized armor company and a T-34 coming out. T-34 is a good idea. Good infantry support. He could save out T-34-85, but the T-34-76 is much better versus infantry. Oh, some great AoE damage. Takes the heavy cover damage bonus. Oh, and that squad could go down the next shot. Does not, however. Multiple good hits, and the Volcanic Warfare finished off the T-70. So all the light vehicles are down for the Allied players, but there's going to be a T-34 coming out soon. And The brick player is getting a Cromwell as well, so it looks like the medium tanks starting to roll out for the allies. Spin me right around.
Enemy threatening a capture point. New land mattress ready to go.
Land mattress is out, so along with his Cromwell, finds a landmine. And there's a lot of rifle fire here. This 222 could get focused down. He's focus firing, does have the rear armor exposed, and there goes the 222. Good landmine placement. But now there's going to be a Cromwell and a land mattress to deal with. There are 2 AT guns out, so there's a lot of AT to deal with the Cromwell, but the land mattress can deal with the AT guns. All depends on positioning and placement of the shots. We do got the Flamer Squad here, but we'll get overwhelmed by the Commandos. Finds another landmine, could potentially get wiped. Doesn't appear to be, though. MG42 forced on back. We do got the Pack 40 set on up. Where is the other one? Way back over here.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
U-34 over here. Fuel point unsecure. Looks like there's also a flare trap there. Actually, there's 2. You can see another one right there. And oh, no tier Sure Panzer quarters. Now Stuka Zafus. Which he may need another Puma at this rate. He's going to get Panzer authorization in order to call in the Command Panther. Oh, Commando, I've heard. Does the crew the Pack 40 entirely? Oh, another good pick. Sukazafus coming on in, going straight for the Pack 40. Does not get the Commando. Almost does decrew the Pack 40, but it's in the range of HMG, so he's going to have some good suppression support. He can't capture while suppressed. The MG34 is getting a flame death. One more burst and it goes down, but the model has actually repositioned. And there goes the crew. This barrage coming on in. T-34 is here. Multiple snares will snared, and that was something bigger there. This Pack 40 has been reclaimed. The T-34 is going to go down. The T-34 is still alive. It rolled a miss. Land mattress barrage coming on in. Do we see a focus fire? No, we don't. A little bit unlucky with that AT gunshot. Ooh, that building has more holes than a Swiss cheese. And decided to go ahead and surrender. They were lacking tickets. They had triple cap against them. Both sides are at 1 victory. On to game number 3. And I only dropped 13 frames that time. And here we are for game number 3. Spawn on the left side as the Allies. We have Insane DevM as the Soviet player and Luvnest as the UKF. And 2 immediate Dr. Lock-ins, same as last game. Mobile Assault and Guard Motor Coordination Tactics. Another Dr. Lock-in, we haven't seen this one just yet, is Grand Offensive for Nagano. And his ally, Scotch, who knows what he will go for? He could go for Blitzkrieg. That's actually an unusual Doctrine C. It's a bit too heavy munitions for my liking, but could potentially be pretty good. German Infantry. 5-man Grenadiers is pretty much the go-to meta nowadays, so I'm highly expecting German Infantry. And Jaeger Armor. This map is not exactly as laney. It is open. I don't see the elephant, though, being super great. The map is quite small, and you can easily get a flank off, even though it's wide open. Perfect for the elephant. We just got some great damage on this Grenadier squad. Conscripts here. We'll get a pretty good flank off. We do got some special coming there. Arriving from this direction. He's trying to reposition, but was unsuccessful. The Grenadiers should reprioritize fire. This is a base bunker radius, just outside the radius. And overall, the fact that he just doesn't have access to tier 0 grenadiers and a slow deployment rate compared to just the conscript spam is being very problematic for the austere player. And intersections also boot just a lot of squads for him to deal with. The RukAclNoggano player is down south, does drop a model there. And then we do also have a bunch of sandbags coming on down from both sides. Vickers out on the build queue. Soviet player has 2 engineers, 3 combat conscripts, 2 grenadiers. He spent quite a bit of time reinforcing, so he is lacking a bit of manpower. This guy is actually reinforcing from right near the structure. He's going to do a soft retreat in order to get that extra man. This is a cutoff point, so he's adamantly trying to defend this. And we do have the first squad of Panzer Fusiliers. Overall, great control by the Allies. Infantry sections making usage of this heavy cover they provided themselves with. Actually, not fighting back, so there's actually a lot of free damage coming down on the squad. Steel Pioneers eyeing for this heavy cover is a great position for the Steel Pioneers. They're getting their mid-range damage, or maybe that's even close range. It's hard to tell. And there's only 3 windows on the side, so the intersection could do some great damage, but just getting way outgunned. Vickers light machine gun is up. Could potentially activate the suppressive barrage, but not. The unit is in heavy cover, so it'll take quite a bit of time to actually suppress. And it looks like the combat engineers will force back the grenadiers there. He could potentially merge in with this squad here, put additional model, and then fall back that 1 squad. 2nd squad of Panzer Fusiliers are now out. And we got the munitions point now secured on up, eyeing just to keep this MG42 in a very defensive position, though repositioning. Down south, lots of wounding on the Axis infantry. They're going to need the medical bunkers up sooner rather than later. I see. Oh, it looks like using the medical crates. He does have enough manpower to build a med bunker. And looks like the Vickers will go up and capture the southern VP. There are hedges along these houses, at least on this side, so preventing majority of weapons from firing. We've got 120mm mortars, you can see here by the announcer, and which could be a quite great item on this map, and have his ally not go for a mortar pit. Right here, 100mm mortars will do great work, better work than a mortar pit because they have the extended auto attack range. Hopefully we'll see one. I actually don't think I've seen one 100mm mortar yet this entire tournament yet. Oh, it's in the one other best of 5 I cast. We do got a Vickers here. Sturm Pioneers are moving on forward. They don't have that one, so no stun grenades. Those retreat them back nice and early. May drop a model upon retreat. We do got some medical crates back at home, so we can get some healing. Still no medical bunker for the austere player either. It looks like he just queued it up. And by the time that gets done building, he probably has enough manpower for his teammate. But munitions is a bit problematic for the medical bunker. We do have the flame half-track upgrade for the austere player. And no snare for the Soviet player. So this Flamer half-track could do some great damage, could run it down to get a squad wipe. He might be. He could fake him out with an Ura, even though he doesn't have the tech. He's just now starting to research it. Maybe a dead conscript? No, he does not. We got one set of G43s out. Even though there's wire on that door, he still bailed out on that side. That's what, and he's able to get in on that side as well. Jeez, I think that wire is placed in too much inside the building. If that makes any sense. We do got a this gun here, does get one good hit in there, but uses the line of sight blocker upon retreat and should be able to stay alive. Do got the AEC out, but will get hit by a single Faust. No point in throwing another one. And he doesn't have enough munitions for that. So we will see anti-tank rifle grenade. Almost gets the kill, just barely does not, and these squads are pretty low in health. Volk squad maybe I try to get the kill now. As well, the Sturm Pioneer. He could potentially throw a stun grenade to help him move forward, but he probably should. Does actually get it.
An emplacement has been destroyed.
There is a Puma out ready to engage the AEC.
Reconnaissance vehicle ready.
This gun. Oh, that was a direct hit. AT grenades have been fully researched. Volk's Grenadier could be upgraded with a set of G43s, but it's probably not G43s, STGs, but probably going to save it for his Panzer Fusiliers. Multiple captures coming in out for the austere player. The VPs are in favor of the Axis by only a small margin, which is ever shrinking right now. No forward repairs from this HQ. Probably should not get it just yet because he needs to fuel for other items, such as Sheriff Panzer Quarters. Do we see a medical bunker? Yes, we do see a medical bunker at home for his ally. This gun setting on up will get a penetrating hit there. M342 is dealing guys with behind heavy cover, could potentially retarget towards the combat engineers in order to try to suppress the conscripts, but does pop out right there. Grenadiers here, but looks like this barrage coming on in the M342, forcing to displace, and the 251 is forced back as well. Cinder grenade does come on out on the structure, preventing the garrison. Who is still alive as well? Where is the AEC? There's a T-70 out. And we do also see the mortar pit. Mortar pit behind the heavy cover once again. I do want to see a 120mm mortar. I love that thing. Just having two of them out, it does a huge amount of damage. And sometimes just unlucky squad wipes. Or lucky squad wipes. Depends who you're rooting for. Looks like there's a mine there. I saw him queuing up a structure of some sort. We do have the heels coming on down on the intersection. Took some boost coming on out. Unusual option, I'll say the least, but it'd be a good idea to displace the units. We do have these guys in a... Oh, no, I could have sworn they were lay down landmine because it was sort of in a square formation. But there is actually a landmine here, and I think it just got swept. And he is going cleared out. Pack 40 setting on up. Actually, no, hitting the... Oh, actually got detonated by something. How did that get detonated? Was it his own units that detonated it? Probably.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Pack 40 is setting on up. Had the wrong target. Needs to put on prioritized fire so it doesn't miss target or keep the rotation. And you guys, Stukas of Foos coming on in, trying to hit this Zis and the mortar pit. Does get a great hit there. And gets scratched. And only did a scratch on the mortar pit. We do got an AT grenade coming on out. Does snare the vehicle, no problem. Zis gun looks like it rolls a miss. Severely wounded. Does get T-crewed entirely by these Volksgrenadiers. Try to force fire the death of the Zis gun, but was unsuccessful. Recruited quite quickly. And you also have an MG34 out by the OKW player. Vickers could just sit into a nice, good defensive position, securing the fuel and the VP. Conscripts rushing on down will run straight into the MG42. Great suppression. These guys are super wounded. Maxim out on the field. There is light cover here, so he will have some protection against the Maxim suppression. But conscripts flanking. He needs to do a full retreat at this rate. And it looks like he's force firing the death of the sandbags right there.
Target vehicle marking available.
Looks like the tier 4 structure has been built for the Soviet player. Company command post is being built as well. For the OKW player, we do not see Sheer Panzer Quarter nor the HQ. And the truck for it. And for the Austere player, we are seeing Battle Phase 2 now. The Austere player does have enough fuel for the Panzer IV. Just needs time to actually call it in. Stukas of Foos coming on in. This is a great spot for the Stukas of Foos. Not super great. Only get a couple models on the Maxim. It does pitch in some nice flamer damage upon the setup. Models tried to get a nice grenade in, but was unsuccessful. Ooh, some good damage coming in from the mortar pit. I believe that is a barrage range, eh? Yep, using the barrage. Bravo out on the build queue. Do we see T-34? No, Katusha. Then put on T-34-85s. Stukas of Foos hasn't been super successful in the games I've seen. Oh, got a bit of a lag spike there. And does lose the Grenadier entirely. Problematic. No doctrinal lock-ins yet by the Austere player. I really don't know. All the doctrines seem like they can work quite well on this map, but nothing just stands out to me. This gun does get another good penetrating hit on to do the flame half-track. Oh, it does get a nice shot in there. The Panzer Fusilier is on full retreat now. And we also got Stukas of Foos. Does get wounding action, but nothing significant. Puma King died. Where is the Cannon Woofer? Far away from home. Does he have smoke? He probably should throw out some smoke right now. So close to death, but now he's... Oh, that was a forced fire through the ground. Patricia Barrage coming on in. Eyeing to engage this Kenworfer. But the Carmel is far away from death. He's going to be rolling on in. Does get a nice model hit there. Pack 4 trying to re-engage the T-70. And they decide to go in and surrender. Not wasting any time. And that is actually a pretty easy game for Luvnest and DevM. Now they're ahead. 2 games to 1. Next game is match point. If the other team wins, it will also be match point. And here we are, game number 4. If Luvnest and DevM win this game, they win this series. This is the semi-final, so if they win this, they go on to the finals. If they lose, they don't go to the finals. And here we are. Let's see, Luvnest as the Austere player. I know he's good at Austere. And DevM as the OKW player. And on the ally side, we have Nogano as the UKF and Scotch as the Soviets. 2 doctrinal lock-ins immediately. We've got Lightning War and Overwatch. Scotch and Nogano could potentially go for a shock rifle frontline tactics again and mobile assault. I think that was a combo. Or no, it was tactical support, wasn't it? Ooh, looks like we do got early engagement and early win for the OKW player. On the MG42. And it's not next to all these carcasses. It's shooting over them. The combat engineers will manage to escape. Could potentially capture up the fuel and the VP. Conscripts captured up the cutoff point. And we got intersection capturing up the munitions. Overall, not too exciting of an initial early game, just a couple easy engagements. Intersection outnumbering the Volksgrenadier. A couple of these guys are in heavy cover. And looks like the Shroom Pioneers have seen quite a bit of damage here. They could potentially use a capture up one of these points and then withdrawal. And it looks like we do got a forward retreat coming out from the Volksgrenadier, just getting outnumbered. Both sides using some light cover. Both sides are pretty wounded. There's a drop model over here, but more damage across these models here. So the threshold of dropping off more models is actually probably higher for the intersection, but does actually pick off another model before even dropping any of their own. Now finally drops one. Universal Carrier is now moving on forward, which will make an easy engagement for the UKF player. Heavy cover here, but I think that's a lot of flanking shots there. Those reposition around this bit of heavy cover. You have a Flamer squad here, another Flamer squad here, denying that garrison. He could force fire at it, burn it down to the ground. And getting some good damage on top of the MG4 too with a nice flank. Grenadiers are moving on forward. There's not light cover there, as you may get used to seeing these explosion sites as light cover. These conscripts are still behind in the heavy cover there. Does stop the capture of the fuel. This Flamer squad is exactly what he needs in order to displace these squads behind the heavy cover. And the Pioneers forced back once again, not getting a whole lot of damage on that squad. In fact, dropping no models. I think he actually was missing somehow. This Grenadier squad is suppressed. The MG42 is behind in light cover, but getting flanked constantly. The MG42 just being such a burden on the Ausstier's loadout, just because you would rather have standard infantry squads rather than an MG42 at this stage of the game. So infantry sections will go ahead and get this cutoff point, but it has been decaptured, so denying that fuel is quite important. Ooh, nice force fire through the ground, getting some great damage. And the squad is forced back once again. I heard a landmine, and it looks like it got at least 2 models. Don't think it got a third one. And forced back those units once again. However, the Flamer squads will does evacuate before the first flame burst comes on in. And it looks like we do got some landmines coming down by the Royal Engineers. We have Dr. Lock-in of the uncommon Guard Rifles Combined Arms Tactics. We could see some KV-1s. Guards are always nice, as well as potentially some PPSH conscripts. ML-20s. Overall, it is a good doctrine. A wide variety of units. Guards are always good. PPSH conscripts can be very nice, though probably not so much on this map. And we do also have a half-track filled with Grenadiers, though, and they're being healed up as well. You can see just one of them just got fully healed, and we may see something that's usually only common, like Dawn of War, assault like drops. And now there's 2 Grenadiers here, and also this point is being secured up by the Pioneers. HMG is set up in a very defensive position, but is a bit wounded. Flamer Burst has come on down, dealing some significant damage to the Grenadiers. Could reinforce it, could hop back on in. The squad is pretty wounded, so it's going to hop back in order to get some health. And also a Teller Mine there, but does cancel it or stopped before I think he actually saw it. Potentially he could have saw it. This gun does get a nice hit there, and now the half-track is forced back once again. These Grenadiers are super wounded. The AoE from the Flamers showing no... Oh, that Zis could have been a whole lot worse as well. Does reinforce the MG42, but is forced back. He could try hopping inside the half-track. There are AT grenades, however. It looks like in the middle of all that, he lost his Pioneer squad, which is a bit of a loss. For the OKW player, got Volks, got Sturm Pioneers, and a Doctrine Lock-in of the Overwatch Doctrine. Which, actually, I already mentioned that before. It was actually the lack of UKF Doctrine. Never mind. Destroys the sandbags there. That's quite nice. How did those Pioneers go down? The last time we saw, they went up here and got gunned down by conscripts, looks like. You can see the 4 Pioneer models right here. Another 2 MG34s being built by the OKW player. And he also has quite a bit of fuel as well. Enough for the sheer Panzer quarters and Panzer authorization. Just needs a structure. And some manpower. And not to hit the landmines. Frag grenade does come on out. So it looks like you do have frag grenades by the UKF player. Minesweepers have swept this mine here. Just haven't been able to secure it. Great damage coming out from the combat engineers and their flamers. This barrage iron engages MG34, will displace it, does get some great wounding action there. Let's see the using medical crates. His ally does have a medical bunker of his own. Could invest a medical crate for his teammate. We got a pack 40 on the build queue. No flame half-track upgrade just yet.
Ready for orders.
E70 now out, so there is now the first light tank. Frag grenade does come on out. Get some good damage on top of Volksgrenadier. But he's going to fight it out because that squad's quite wounded. E70 now pushing their way forward. We got a minesweeper out up in front. We don't see any teller mines. Pack 40 ready to engage. Does roll a miss, however. The Royal Engineers are way too wounded to stick around for any too long. And these Grenadiers could hop inside the 251 in order to get some health.
A fresh mortar crew has arrived.
Snare will come out for the Grenadiers. This T-70 has, this Volcano could potentially get a kill, and does get the kill. Now has a possibility of sieging this mortar pit. This barrage trying to eye for the Volcano, does get a great wounding action there, does get a good hit, needs Incendiary Grenade, does get decrewed. And that looks like then mortar pit braces on cooldown. And tried to resecure that gun, but was unsuccessful, way too low on models, not willing to sacrifice the squad. And there goes the mortar pit. Nice pickup for the Axis players. Looks like there's a Scotch tier mortar out in the field as well. Do we see a medical crate? No med bunker for his ally. He really needs to build one. More good wounding actions. Need to hop inside the 251 half track now. Trying to build sandbags while under the barrage is not a good idea. Trench coming on down. Eyeing to give more protection as well as more range for the Vickers once it gets up to that one. Let's go ahead and pop in the intersection in there, because why not? Since he doesn't want to take time to pack this up. Oh, that's an MG34, not a Vickers. That's actually quite different. But the more protection is always welcome. Plus, it will make him easily win our MG duels, because he doesn't receive any suppression of his own. This barrage coming in on the structure. One good hit could collapse it. Next shot will collapse it. And the AT gun, the Volcano Warfare, does get a good shot onto the 251.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Rifle grenade goes out, but looks like the half track goes down to a snare.
Inflicting losses upon us. Our capture point. They're trying to
Our team has to be very careful, but he can get a pretty close range hit, could wipe out those squads. He's going to go for a close range hit, but you got the conscripts now trying to move on forward. The crew members are actually going to protect the point itself, and we got the Sheer Panzer quarters protecting the MG from being flanked. This is a cutoff point, so they're receiving no fuel from this point over here. Sheer Panzer Quarters does have the Panzer Authorization upgrade, as we saw with those shots, and he is approaching enough fuel for a Panzer IV. I would imagine he'll go for a Panzer IV, or save up for a Panther. I would say those would be his best two options at the moment. He built the Mechanized HQ, and did we even see a Puma or AEC this game? Not even AEC research. So we saw no Puma nor AEC. That's actually a little bit different. Just a 251. We got the Cromwell out. Did we ever see a T-70 as well? That was a Universal Carrier, right? So yeah, we saw no T-70, Puma, or 222, or AEC. Am I going in circles now? We literally didn't see any of the standard light vehicle meta, except for just even, and we saw a regular 251 half track, not even a flame half track as well. So this is actually a bit of a different game. However, conscripts are still effective versus pioneers building sandbags. Cromwell is out. I would assume OKW Panzer IV. Yes, that's on the build queue. Multiple squads of conscripts here, as will a bit of light cover, so these Sturm Pioneers will be dealt with at long range. We got a doctrinal lock-in of mobile assault. Cromwell is here, and the Grenadiers do withdraw, so do the Pioneers. No AT guns over here, and that's a pretty good mortar hit. I think that was a mortar. We do have a Pack 40, as well as 140 fuel for the Austria player. We actually have Battle Phase 3, and actually Tier 3 has been built, so we may see a Panther or Brumbar. Both options, I'll say, would be pretty good. G42 does get flanked, just needs to continue firing that squad. It does suppress the combat engineer, does retreat back the conscript squad, and does not have, does have one of the models in radius, and pins the combat engineer. But he could sit there, lose that one model, and then he will have to reposition. Do got a Brumbar coming on the field, so it looks like going for some heavy anti-infantry support. Let's destroy more and more sandbags with that AT gun. Quite a bit of fuel for Scotch as well, so it looks like we will see a KV-1. He does have enough for an ML-20, but KV-1's probably be in their best interest than an ML-20. We have seen quite a bit of support weapons by the Axis players, 2 MG34s, an MG42, a mortar, and the Pack 40. Did we see another Vikenwerfer? We do see another Vikenwerfer. Brumbar is now out, so is the Panzer IV. And more mines being swept with their feet. There's another mine here, but that's going to be in position to take on infantry. Don't see a Panzer IV coming down that area anytime soon. Cromwell's here, going to be engaging the MG34. Panzer IV has been exposed. AT gun does get some good hits there. 2 good hits, but we do have a Vet 3 Sturm Pioneer, so there's plenty of repairs. And the Cromwell will be forced back. The Vikenwerfer can cover the retreat of the Panzer IV. Brumbar in a great position, ready to slug in some 150mm or 15cm. More Soviet mines being built. And the capture from Vikenwerfer looks like it's over here as well. AB1 out on the field. That is something heavy, hard for a single Pack 40 to deal with. Its armor is quite high, and it's actually very resistant. Great amounts of damage going down on the Pak-40, does force it back. And now we do have Tiger tanks now available, but far from it with the fuel. That's most likely the next item he will probably go for, or a Panther. So does get a nice hit there. I thought I was going to actually go for the mortar pit. It's a very close range hit, so the mortar pit can do some significant damage. Smoke being rained on in from something. Looks like from the mortar team, actually. Pak-40, a second Pak-40 is now out in the field, so there's two Pak-40s. That's a good counter or option to hold back the KV-1. Is this gun engaging, or the M1 AT gun against the Panzer IV? Datsun getting suppressed. We'll need to fall back relatively soon. We also have the mortar pick now exposed. The Kennewerfer engaging the Cromwell, and does get a snare off before he throws an incendiary grenade on top of the mortar pit. He's actually not throwing it just yet. He's actually going to decrew the 6-pounder in order so he can bring up his Panzer IV. Doesn't actually get a incendiary grenade off before he retreated. And there's also an 18 mine there, and that's a great mortar hit. The MG34 here will be displaced through the Panzer IV, and now you can go ahead and rescare those sectors. But you got a land mattress engaged in this position, does decrew the Kennewerfer. Sturm Pioneers are too low to recruit. And we do also have a Panzerwerfer out in the build queue. I would disagree with that. They need something a bit more aggressive, such as a Panther or Tiger. But the barrages would be quite important versus the land mattresses, as well as the AT guns. More smoke raining on in. Bombrar ready to engage these combat engineers, but just out of range. This gun setting on up as well. Datsun capturing at this point does have a bit of like cover here, but will dodge or move out of the way so it can dodge the grenade. Does destroy the sandbags. Ooh, the Brumbar goes down entirely. How did that happen? That was a big loss, and that is a resilient unit. And the KV-1, while a clear win in the matchup, takes quite a bit of time to actually take it out. Panzerwerfer receiving rounds from the MG34. The Axis players are not doing too good. Losing that broom bar is very, very important. And it looks like we do got a barrage coming in over here. Katusha eyeing to kill off the Panzerwerfer. Oh, sees quite a bit of damage, but looks like he's out of the radius now. Just need to dodge one more volley of rockets. And now he should be able to retreat back, no problem. KV-1 now pushing on forward. Does receive a penetrating hit from the Pak-40. 2 penetrating hits. Panzerwerfer barrage comes on in over here and does not decrew the MG34. The Panzerwerfer will need some repairs relatively soon, though it's not any danger of being wiped anytime soon.
The enemy is taking our territory.
This gun and the Kennewerfer from the air. Rifle grenade does coming out. That was a very grouped up squad, killing off 5 of the models. And we also have a half-track coming out. I think they recognize what doctrines they have. Lightning War, as well as Sector Assault. So having anti-aircraft is very important. It's a good call. just in order to shoot down all the stuff that may be in the air. Suxafus. Good wounding actions, but just still way outgunned. This Panzer IV could wipe out a squad, does not, however. Combat, the Storm Pioneers were forced back, does not get wiped, and his cutoff point's been cut off once again. The OKW player does have enough. Oh, there goes a Gren. As I was saying before, the OKW player has quite a bit of fuel. He can get another Panzer IV, or a Jagdpanzer, or something. He's far away from getting left 18. He needs. That requires better manpower. This map is quite small. The Katusha has quite a bit of room to outmaneuver, and the Panzerwerfer being majorly misrallied and losing that as well. The Austere lines has collapsed, losing both his vehicles, now a Grenadier squad. And he can't really keep his AT guns in one location, or else the Katusha could barrage them, kill them. Though it's on cooldown at the moment. Another Panzerwerfer? I disagree with that. First one was not super great anyways, and does decrew an AT gun there. KV-1 pushing himself forward, does find a Vet-1 AT gun. Panzer IV still not repaired. Ooh, we do got a Firefly out, so the Allied players do have a significant amount of armor. And it looks like it's going to force fire the 6-pounder bow is unable to. And does, however, decrew the land mattress, but it's far away from getting it destroyed. Was unable to suppress the Volk squad of the quad, but does force it back nonetheless. Do got a barrage coming on in. Does decrew the AT gun once again, very close to death. Here, Katusha barrage coming on in. Ooh, and the Panzer IV is super wounded. Cromwell has the point relatively secure, just not actually secured. Both of the Pack 40s are now moving on forward. Does get a bounce there. Trying to go for a snare, but I'm not sure of pen. Nope. 2 bounces in a row. I don't think a pen will be enough for it to get a snare. Probably would, though. We got a squad of Panzer Grenadiers out on the field now. I have munitions as well. Both players have access to the airstrike, so there could be a lot of aircraft. What is that? 5, 6 aircraft? Not out of the game just yet. Both aircraft strafes are quite important, but with the quad, that's quite a bit of anti-aircraft. His ally has plenty of fuel. He can go for a Centaur himself as well. Panzer IV moving on forward. Panzerwerfer barrage coming on in. I think right over around here. Not accomplishing all too much. Does force back the Maxim, but that's about it. Panzer Grenadiers have been upgraded with G43s. And a conscript squad. Was that purposeful throwaway? Nope, he's rebuilding his conscript squad, so not purposeful. I was thinking, is he freeing up population space? If I were to free up population space, I'd probably leave him down to 1 model, retreat him back, and keep him at HQ. Katusha barrage, that is... Oh, that would have been a little bit better spot Two, multiple good shots. They're calling the airstrikes now. Both of them looks like a pair that's calling the airstrikes. Another AT gun shot hit. And all that just to kill one KV-1. Though the Firefly here is getting hit as well. Another Stukas and Fus barrage getting some great hits. Looks like the Firefly may receive another strafe. No, that's this aircraft coming back to loiter. And it looks like that's the end of all the strafes. That's the quad could actually receive some strafes, but now at 3 stars of efficiency, killing off all 5 aircraft. Actually, no, the 6th one still coming in for another strafe, I think. And there it goes. Probably the quickest Vet 3 quad you've ever seen. They do have quite a bit of munitions, so next time these abilities come off cooldown, they can potentially throw it out again. So every player still has a bit of fuel to play around with, and he has access to his own loiter coming on in now. You loitered me, I'm going to loiter you. The right term? Loitering somebody? That's... Loiter doesn't exactly have to deal with another person. Oh well. Like, the term loiter is usually one person staying in the area, not necessarily a person loitering around somebody. Does manage to avoid the radius of the MG34. Could throw a bundle or a... Ooh, he lost his Storm Pioneers entirely. And does decrew the AT gun, but doesn't wipe out the gun. It's very low in health. Does kill off there. And now we got a Centaur out. Now there's going to be a lot of anti-aircraft for the allied players, though the initial strafes could be quite important. Is there repairs at the HQ? Yes, there is. So the OKW player has access to some repairs. Tulips do come in, one shot away from death. Firefly's going in for the kill, but it's going to lose vision. May find the Sticks of Fus instead, however. Volksgrenadier eyeing for a Faust. Unable to get the Faust. Soviet player going for this cutoff point once again. Oh, both these AT guns are fully destroyed. Ooh. I think the Axis players' days are numbered. The austere player is approaching enough fuel for a Tiger tank, but he's far from the manpower of getting it. He's going to get the fuel before he gets the manpower. Volksgrenadier are forced back once again, but Ken Whiffer does get some good pens. Now we've got the vehicle crew repairs for the UKF player. Land mattress barrage does come on in. We do got the Stukes of Fus coming in for a counter barrage. No, it's not. He just only hit the MG34. Opus now moving on forward. But they may be... no, they could potentially help win this engagement. But these Katusha barrages, ooh, so much indirect fire for the allied players. They're in a great position. Only 100 tickets left for the Axis players, and they're counting down fast. There's potentially a snare there at the Firefly there. Oh no, I think that was a bounce or miss. I didn't really see. But the Flamer will keep the Royal Engineers alive. Cromwell moving on forward. They spotted the Stukas of Fus, but decided not to go for it. Centaur not fully repaired. Probably received a hit from the Vikenwerfer. Obsidian's severely wounded and probably need to fall back. The Centaur can rip them apart. And the Grenadier is eyeing to capture this VP. Oh, didn't even get the decapture. I do have a Panther now out for the OKW player, which is a good item. Another KV-1 is now out on the field. They're lacking VPs. I think the Austria player should throw out his Stuka close air support at this time. Oh, nice snare there. Main gun destroyed. Here comes the Stuka. Now here comes the Stuka's close air support. Rolls a miss on the Panzer IV and does take out the Centaur right there. KV-1's coming on in. Cromwell's also in the area. Try and go for the miss with the tulips as well. And Mang, it's abandoned. He has to waste shot and time in order to prevent it from being recruited, but they only have a couple tickets left. 4 tickets left. No blitz just yet. Here comes another loiter run, still in the radius. And another abandoned, but this game's over. They have 1 ticket left. The game will go on for a moment, but the indirect fire, the abandoned Panther. Just insult to injury. Losing a Volk squad. What? Oh, there it goes. I mean, that Panther abandoning right there. Oh, so much insult to injury. 2 vehicles abandoned in their opponent's base. Oh, vehicle abandonment should just be removed from at least multiplayer. Single player, it's fine, but not multiplayer. It's just. Oh. Obsidian inside this trench, and with the capture of that VP, actually this one's being captured, this one's being decrewed, that one's been decaptured, and thus the game's over. Ugh. Again, Allies 4, Axis player 0. On to game number 5. This is up to anybody's game right now. Probably for the people who are playing Allies. And here we are with game number 5. Spawn on the south side as the Allies. We have Luvnest and Insane DevM. Up on the north side as the Axis players, we have Scotch and Nagano. Winner takes all in this game. 2 immediate doctrinal lock-ins. We got once again Mobile Assault Regiment plus Guard Motor Coordination Tactics. Drone Pioneer is being set out to the right side. He's going to go straight for the fuel. Appears to be. We don't see a Kopenhagen, so we will probably see 2 Volks and a Sturm Pioneer. Over here, just conscripts for an infantry section. Vicars may come later. We got just straight Grenadier build for the Austria player, so his first units will be out later on the field. We also got some nice heavy cover there. I think he was rushing straight to that heavy cover just to deny this point. And actually, he could just stay behind this heavy cover and stay at max range. I don't think infantry sections can gauge all too well. Yeah, they're just out of max range, so he can't. Heavy cover here and heavy cover here prevents any sort of engagement. Now there's 2 squads here. Now you can start overwhelming with numbers. The Sturm Pioneers just need to stay in heavy cover. We do got this point being captured by the conscripts. And that is a cutoff point, but they're only cutting off 1 regular standard point. Not a whole lot. Overall, the OKW player will be facing against multiple players. The Grenadiers create such a late start for the Austere player. It's going to take some time for him to get back into the game. We got more squads of Grens coming here, but Conscript's eyeing for a flanking run. Conscripts here is nice, but they're going to be outgunned, and there's now 2 squads of Volks Grenadiers here. This squad will probably be forced back in the engagement. This squad will also be forced back. Sturm Pioneers still engaging at long range, still outgunned. Volks Grenadier could have reinforced him, but it'll still be a losing battle. He's going to need more Volks. Conscripts behind this heavy truck. Good heavy cover. Grenadiers could stay behind that ruined car as well. Does kill off the corpse there. The casualty. The conscripts are just at full health. Literally at full health. Still at full health. Now it's sustained some damage. Also do got a flamethrower here for the Soviet player. There's heavy cover here, but that's actually bad news for the Pioneer squad. They're going to sustain extra damage. They're unable to secure up the munitions point. Over here, we do got some infantry section here, Volks Grenadiers as well, but this close range looks like the initial damage is in favor of the infantry section. Universal Carrier is now out, as well as a Vickers. So the OKW player is going to refocus efforts towards the left side of the map, engaging these conscripts in a hugely overwhelming firepower. But now we got the infantry sections now moving on forward. They will go ahead and get in this light cover for their combat bonus. We do have the Vickers K light machine gun being upgraded now, able to use the suppressive fire. We would definitely recommend in order to help suppress these squads. Reinforcing conscripts here, but there are also a lot of Grents over here on the flank. Conscripts here going around capturing, will potentially decapture the fuel. Nice mine right there. Don't think it was spotted, but he may have a general idea. Sturm Pioneers eyeing for nice close range, trying to get to their armor, but there's a Vickers here. Does suppress the squad outright. We got a light mechanized company, and we do also have a 222 out on the build queue, eyeing to engage the Universal Carrier. Flamescore Thrower Squad will force back these Grenadiers. They're probably going to go ahead and just stay here and capture up the munitions point. And the fuel point was almost outright captured, but capturing is not a huge issue. Actually, he potentially could have got some fuel, but not a whole lot. Lots of conscripts here, though there is a large number of gun grenadiers, but this squad needs to fall back. It is severely wounded. It is prone to being wiped right now. Does retreat on back. It's a bad retreat path. This hay bale is a little bit need a little bit pushed farther forward in order to break more of a gap. And there's a sheer number of conscripts will force back these grenadiers. 222 is right here. We'll find the landmine. And it looks like the Universal Carrier will be forced down. Gone. And AEC is on the way. Or that's AEC research. Stun grenade upon retreat, keeping the Sturm Pioneers from being wiped. No mines here, so nothing to hit those on the upon retreat either. Conscripts go ahead and recapture the fuel point once again. May see a medical crate or two for Austere, but it looks like he does not have enough manpower for it. do have a doctrinal lock-in of German infantry, so we'll see some 5-man squads. And we do have a medical bunker. It actually looks like he just built one for his teammate for the time being. He still has a medical crate here, which he uses it now. Honestly, if he would have left it there, allowing his teammate to pick it up so he can stay mobile while he doesn't have his own medical bunker, probably could have been a good idea.
The bunker has been converted to an emergency medical station.
An engineer unit is ready for
AEC is now out. Only has the 2-2 to contend with. We do see Mechanized HQ once again. And probably maybe a Puma as well, based on a guess. AEC engaging the Sturm Pioneers, but it's not super effective really against infantry, but does push them out of the heavy cover and outright destroy. No, he doesn't actually crush the heavy cover, never mind. Puma out on the build queue. Rifle grenade, where's that going? Straight. I think he was thinking it's going to go into the light cover, but actually he's just going to this cutoff point. Which is actually really cutting off nothing because it's already also decaptured. May see a rifle grenade right here. They're pretty bunched up and only in light cover, mostly. He's also hitting the sandbags, damaging his own units with the 2-2. Again, oh, so much friendly fire. Medical crates do come on out, trying to heal up these units. And we do also have a mortar pit here.
enemy threatening a capture point.
T-70 now out on the field. Puma has access, now can engage multiple targets. 2-2 still alive. I don't see any teller mines. He's been spending his munitions on the 5-man squad upgrades. 2-2 actually has his engine damaged. And we do also have a Pack 40 out in the field. Just came out though. Suppression does come on out for the... Oh! What a pair of mortar shots. What was that? 6 kills? Yeah. Puma does force away the T-70 for the time being. And looks like we've got a pretty big explosion right there. I think it's mortars, however, because you can see those are Volksgrenadiers, as well as some conscripts. Enemy squad is here, which can be very problematic for these Volksgrenadiers, but they're nice and spread out, so they will take minimum damage from the flamethrower, but the heavy cover is going to prove very problematic for them. Mortar team looks like I think that was a barrage, but I think the barrage is going to largely miss. I think he selected on this heavy cover right there. Here conscripts Urong 4 trying to go for a snare. May get it on the Puma. Does not, however. Pack 40 here, and the conscripts will go on I to remove it. He does have a minesweeper here. He will spot these mines. Volksgrenadier could potentially move forward and potentially get a snare here. The Puma is at nearly full health, so a snare would be quite important in order to take it out. There is a mine here, a British mine. Puma's in a very defensive position. Looks like now repositioning to gauge the AEC. Oh, getting some quite a bit of good damage on that infantry section. There's also another landmine there, so a lot of landmines.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Grenadiers are forced back once again. We got Stuka Zafus on the build queue. This map can be quite good for the Stuka Zafus. Ooh, that squad's super wounded. And we also got a squad of commandos now out. Rifle grenade out, but they're in heavy cover. Not a huge issue. As long as they don't drop any models, they have their own medics to heal them. Oh, that may have been a squad wipe. Yes. Commandos ambushed and killed. And with the commandos here, that is a very dangerous retreat path. The Storm Pioneers are retreat back now. We potentially could see a... no, it's still on cooldown. Unlikely we'll see a Gamma Bomb. If he were to hold back the retreat any later, he potentially could have got Gamma Bombed. Mortar Pit raining in more and more damage. Making good use of the extended range of the barrage. The extended range of the barrages have a very short cooldown, so by the time the first barrage gets... oh, kills off the T-70, very nice. That flare artillery just spotting for the Puma. We're forward trying to get the Puma with a snare. No incendiary grenade on top of the mortar pit. Doesn't have enough munitions anyways for one.
The AT gun you ordered is ready.
Oh, that's a Teller mine, not a British mine. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's what because they're both circular just by a quick glance. I would assume that was just British mine since we saw plenty, but that is actually a Teller mine. Stuka Zafus coming on in. Where is it going? Ooh, good hit. Great hit. And actually a bit of splash damage here as well. Doesn't get the squad wipe. This could be a good spot for a rifle grenade. They're very congested, but they're behind heavy cover. Some of them. This one doesn't even have the marker for heavy cover. G42 will cover the flank. There may be a rifle grenade from this direction. If he gets a flanking shot off the rifle grenade, removes the heavy cover damage resistance. Puma over here. Flamer Royal Engineers trying to get the snare off. AEC trying to move forward. Does find the Puma. They find each other. But that's about it. Both these mines are still here.
A capture point is being overrun.
More mines coming on out. This map is a minefield now. Doesn't finish in time. Does actually cancel it.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Infiltration grenades does displace the infantry section, doing significant amount of damage. They are firing, if you actually notice. That's a problem with a little bit of an issue with the infiltration grenades. It just seems like it stops them from like doing the proper animations afterward for a time being. Ooh, that squad is suppressed, so that squad is not in any danger. Or as much danger. Conscripts eyeing for Ura. They do have plenty of munitions for it. We do also have the 5-man squad of upgrade available with the Mechanized Armor Company being built. And we do have the Vickers machine gun being decrewed by the Stuka Zafus. There are still those landmines everywhere. The Puma is fully healed while the... what's it called? AEC is not. He does spot that one mine. Does throw out a stun grenade there. But they didn't capitalize it on full damage. Gamma Bomb, however, comes out in return. And oh! Was that from the mortar pit or from his own gammon? His own gammon. He splashed his own squad. 3 models went down because of it. T-34-76 out on the field. Haven't seen T-34-85 yet in this series. Even though I think that was available for most of the games. Suppression coming on down on top of the conscripts here. Does capture the point. Could have stayed there a little bit. But the flamer injuries probably is a big threat. We do got a Brumbar. Mine is still alive there. T-34-76 now moving on forward. Does get a nice hit on the HMG. Ziz sitting on up. Does roll a miss on the Puma. And Panzer authorization is almost complete. More mines coming on now. He may have spotted that one. Not sure. Bring up the commandos. Yep, 3 friendlies killed for the commandos. The conscripts could potentially go down right there, but he has plenty of health left, so it's unlikely. Brumbar, that's a pretty good shot right there. Great amount of damage. Does throw a snare, but unable to get the snare. Next shot, another good hit. More explosions coming down. Does get the snare onto T-34-76, but it's far from death. Is the Stukas of Fus off cooldown? No, that's the Puma. It just got fired. Does the crew in the AT guns. Could force fire the death of the AT gun with the 2-2, but it'll take a significant amount of time. Eyeing for the mortar pit with the 2-2, probably a easier target to go for. And the Cromwell is out. Brumbar sustaining severe amount of damage, has to fall back, and we do have some Volks here to support the capture of the central VP. Mortar pit is still wounded, but not under siege. Actually, is under siege from the PaK-40. These Grenadiers providing vision to it. Another great hit there. There are a pair of conscript models here. Rifle grenade that gets pitched in as well. Sort of pointless, honestly. And we got the flares coming in to spot. There goes the mortar pit. The Puma Mace find the landmine. Oh, and depending on the angle, the mine could be tripped by one of these shots. Commandos self forward, throws a gammon, forces a retreat, but that's about it. Puma didn't receive any damage. The Vickers does suppress the squad, and the Grenadiers could fall back and heal themselves, or do a full retreat and reinforce and heal themselves. MG-34 engaging these infantry section. They don't have grenades, so staying there is not super great. We do also have some 5-man pioneers. Looks like he lost his original squad. The extra man does help with repairs significantly. 34 eyeing to hunt down this 222. There is a Grenadier squad to ward away the AT gun. This barrage? Nope. PaK-40s, 2 PaK-40s here. Panzerfaust, perfect. But they're at max range. He is going to have to put a shoulder on his teammate for some flares, or force these guys forward. They're a bit late of the force of the moving forward. He's going to use this line of sight blocker here. The Ziz could stay around to fire a barrage, but I don't think the T-34-76 is going to go down. Brumbar pushing on forward the center of map, eyeing to displace that Maxim. Does displace it. Doesn't get any models, but forcing it back is all what you need sometimes. Volk's Grenadier engaging the commandos at close range and forgotten about. Puma moving on forward. There's a Katusha and a T-34. Finds a T-34, gets a main gun destroyed. He's going to force him way forward. The Zisk could body block him. Does he know about the Katusha? I don't think so. It's at the edge of the potential radius. If you would have known, that would have been an easy trade. Large number of units here does sweep the mine once again. 2 fouls, and there is a snared engine. The Puma could respawn. The Puma's way back at home. Land Mattress Barrage is running on in, dealing significant amounts of damage. The crews, the Vickers, doesn't get a wipe on anything. Actually, the Soviet player reclaims the Vickers. These 2 AT guns are still alive, as was the Katusha Barrage. And that was actually mostly the MG42 crew and the crews the MG42. Saving the Pak-40s is a bit more important, I would say, though there's not a huge target for just this Cromwell, which actually used the vehicle repair, the crew repair ability because it had a damaged engine. This rolls a miss, and the MG42 has been reclaimed. Does do a Zis barrage right there. And it destroys it, too. It rolls a miss, but gets the kill anyways. We do have a Panther on the build queue. And there's also a Command Panther out, so there's going to be 2 Panthers out. This is so far the best game that the Axis play. Oh! 1 dead Stukas of Foos. Push it way too far forward. Grenade Assault does come on in. A significant amount of damage. He needs to withdraw that unit. Keep the manpower. Many of the OKW units are in full retreat. He's lost a number of his Volk squads. He can replace them with Olmsadatsen with infrared STGs. That probably is it's a powerful weapon, and he's approaching manpower for it, so why not? The 222 is actually still alive, and this point is being secured up by these units. The 222 could just go ahead and stay at the VP and protect it like any MG. Its life expectancy has significantly gone down as time, so might as well keep it very defensive. Nice suppression from the Vickers, and now we've got a Land Mattress Barrage coming on down on these units. Great hits on the Pak-40. This barrage, was this coming on in, does smoke. It is a fragmentation bomb, and it's going. Oh, the Royal Engineers do not go down. We could see a force fire and destroying the Zis guns. I think that's what we're going to see, but he's worried about a snare. The Panther doesn't. The Panther could get snared. I don't know. The 222 is snared, that's for sure. And probably will go down to rifle fire. And there goes this. I think he used a bunker buster. No, he did not. And the Royal Engineers just get thrown away. We do got a Firefly out, so we do got some heavy AT. The Command Panther is severely wounded, probably hit one of the landmines, perhaps both of them. But now we do got the Austere Panther moving on into support, and we do also got the Puma to aid it. It actually throws out its own. No, that was actually mortar smoke, I think, from somewhere. And wait, no, both the things are still alive. I heard like something explode. The mortar pit went down quite some time ago, so I'm not sure what was that explosion. Where did that smoke come from? Where did that smoke come from? Is that from the commandos? Right, Grenade does come on out. The Maxim does dodge it. He needs to get a guy on top of that command point. But he does have a lot of Grenadiers here. He can snare this Cromwell with one Faust. Doesn't need two. Puma could potentially get another good hit in.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Does in fact get another good hit in, and does spot potentially destroy the 6-pounder. Destroying it would be quite nice. Multiple great hits, but the Su-85 will put an end to that, and the main gun destroyed thanks to the Firefly. Ooh, that was actually pretty close. We see any Royal Engineers? No, we don't. He's going to have to fully rely on... he doesn't have enough munitions for vehicle crew repairs. He's going to need to put a shoulder on his teammate, which he just dropped a flamer, which means he just lost a combat engineer. No combat engineers, no Royal Engineers. Ooh, this is not good for the Allies. They need repairs. They absolutely need repairs. Royal Engineers on the build queue. He could potentially stand to get another squad out just to keep his stuff in tip-top shape. They don't need to worry about getting any Centaur or any anti-aircraft. Neither doctrine supports that, and they know it. 2 Pak-40s here, so there is still a significant amount of AT for the austere player. Plus, he still has a Panther, so the austere player is still in a good position. The RukAclNoggano player has lost a significant amount, but holding his own. Both the Allied players have lost significant number of engineers, especially the Soviet player. So the Allies' fighting capacities definitely have been knocked down a bit. It won't be able to really get contest the game for a bit of time, and they're actually low in tickets. They have less than half tickets than the opposition, and we do also have infrared STGs out. They will completely ignore light cover bonuses and only deal with the damage resistance bonus from heavy cover as well. Plus, they have good damage. Conscripts moving on forward. Puma still alive, but receiving fire. Unlikely to get Ura off to or get it. Both Panthers are moving on in, eyeing to kill off that Sherman Firefly. 2 hits in. The Command Panthers receive quite a bit of fire. The Austere Panther should stop moving to get increased accuracy. And there goes the Firefly. Su-85 using the speed buff from the command tank. 1 Pak-40, 2 Pak-40 hits on the Su-85. Landmasters are trying to aim for a close range barrage. Brumbar does, and there goes the Su-85. The Pak-40s, while losing them is annoying, but not a huge issue. They eliminated a huge number of the opposition's armor. Landmasters interrupted, thinks that hit. Did they actually straight up cancel it? I'm not really sure if that cancels the barrage. Commandos may get a wipe here, but they're sort of dancing around the point, and does get the wipe there. But trading both an Su-85 and Sherman for 1 Volks, I say that's a good trade. Does the recruit one of the AT guns, but it's unlikely he can get a shot off. A lot of firepower in the area, primarily from this Brumbar. Cromwell's still alive, so the Allied players still have a tank. And T-34-76 is still out as well. I think this is a fresh one. Yeah, the first one went down, so that is a fresh one. I'm sort of surprised we didn't see T-34-85s. That would be a bit better than 76s against the armor. Focusing down the AT gun, and it looks like we do got a bunker buster on top of the Maxim. Landmaster's barrage is successful. Could force fire and destroy that AT gun. Yes, he is. And there it goes. Rangers, getting splashed by the last couple Landmaster's rockets. Command Panther still alive. Does use the marked target. It'll take 3 shots to kill off the T-34, I believe. Or just actually... Yep, just 3 shots. It was Puma misconveying the damage. And there goes the T-34-76. The Soviet player has no armor left, and he doesn't really have the fuel for it as well. Either Su-85 or T-34-85 is what he should build, not 76s. We'll see a snare, 2 snares. The AT gun could set on up and use merge, but it looks like we're going to have the fragmentation bomb coming on in. That's a... Oh! The bomb looks like it falls a bit far. Brumbar getting some great damage upon him falling back. Command Panther is severely wounded. More AT grenades. And the Brumbar interrupted its movement. But there is an MG42 here. Land Mattress eyeing to destroy this Command Panther outright. It may actually get it. Just needs one more good pen right there. But no, looks like all the rockets are falling short. The Obusadotsen may go down. They do go down. But the Command Panther will live. Puma, main gun destroyed. Cromwell, one shot away from death. So the Austria units are severely wounded. There is a fresh Stukas of Fus has fired 1 barrage. But the Axis players are in a great position. Soon getting a cap in their favor. They have a significant armor advantage and thus fuel advantage. 250x spare fuel. He could go for... Well, he's going for a Grenadier, which will consume quite a bit of population. But he could cancel it and go for another Brumbar, maybe a Panther, Panzerwerfer. He has a lot of options. Nice snare there. Oh, take 3 more AT gunshots to take it out, and severely wounded now. It's forced on back. Land Mattress barrage coming on in. It's unlikely he's going to get a kill on the Brumbar, even if the Brumbar was there. Ooh, good Zisp hit. Panther did receive some fire there. It looks like he, not sure what squad he lost. I think it's a Grenadier squad. Conscript's eyeing for an Ura, and will get the snare, no problem. But he won't be able to capitalize on the kill. Plenty of repairs here for all the Axis vehicles. The Yugoslav player is lacking infantry. Going for another Stukas of Fus. I guess he really wants to kill off those land mattresses. Though he could make do with these 3 squads. The Vet-5 Volks, and once the Obusadotsen upgrade of infrared STGs, it can be more than enough to handle some of their opposition, though a bit lacking. Second Stukas of Fus is an unusual option. You could... No, you can't get a Command Panther and King Tiger, never mind. Ooh, great hit from the Brumbar. Nice bunker buster. Carmel is still alive, just keeping the flank secure for the time being. The Puma is at Vet 4, close to Vet 5, but he may get snared by the Royal Engineers. Another land mattress barrage. How many? There are 2 land mattresses, and they're pretty wounded as well. Here comes Stukas of Fus. Ooh, good hit. Good hits. Nothing too fantastic, though. Now, here's a question. What would you recommend? Another Obusadotsen squad or another Panzer IV? That's about how much population room that the OKW player has left. Or another Sturm Pioneer. But he only really needs 1 for repairs. This point needs to be captured. No point of letting that continue. T-34-76 is alive. And that's actually a new one as well. I disagree with the T-34-76. The Command Panther blitzing on forward, eyeing the death of another T-34. Whoa. What was that? Did that seemed like there was more than one hit there. And looks like the other Panther tank was at full health. Was it the Puma that did that? Does it get a damage bonus at a level of veterancy or something? Or was that a marked target at the last moment? I really don't know. I don't know. Firefly goes down. Cromwell maybe next. Is that by 3-star veterancy? Do have the marked target there. 2 Panthers in pursuit. The Austria Panther does get snared, but that's a dead tank. Puma severely wounded. Was that a gamma bomb? I'm so surprised that Brumbar didn't get any models dropped there, but multiple Axis vehicles are wounded, but not any chance of going down. In fact, the Axis players seem like they have this game in hand, but there's actually a triple cap against them. But they have time. Their opponents don't. And they're not going to give up lightly, because this is the final game of the series. This is the Game 5 of Best of 5. S-35 now out on the field. A very necessary option over the T-34-76s. Ooh, good hits. What do we see? No hammer nor anvil. Firefly is definitely the best option for the Brit. Or go for Comets or Churchills. Not Cromwells, I can say that. 17-pounder? No, 2 Sukasafus. That's a bad idea. The Allies are playing the VP game quite good. One of the Grenadiers could be upgraded to a 5-man squad. And the Maxim's just being very problematic. Though, if you look at the actually health, it's dead. I was going to say that if it gets decrewed, it's outright going to be dead. And that fragmentation bomb proved my point. Command Panther, the regular Panther blitzing on in. Brumbar eyeing for the AT gun. Great hit. No mines in the general area, but rolling a bunch of misses, but can't receive any hits at this rate either. Conscripts going on in, and that Su-85 dodged every hit, even with the blitz on. I'm actually sort of surprised about that. Puma may in fact go down, but maybe a bit of a blessing for the OKW player. Reverse moving towards the Su-85 is not a good idea, especially when there's snares in the area. The Panther up here is a bit wounded, could go in. The Brumbar could potentially try distracting the Su-85. The Su-85 is severely wounded though. Great hit there with the Brumbar. And there goes the Command Panther. He has plenty of fuel and new Command Panther out on the field. So I'm going to say losing the Puma could free up some population space for something else. But looks like he's going to have to spend his resources on the Command Panther and spending his manpower on another Oberstdotson. So I would say he's going to have a very nice, well composition still. Just a lack of veterancy.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Models here. The Allies have been doing a great job of playing the VP game, but they just have no armor. Stukasafus. It's been a while since we saw one of those get fired off. Great hit, and the commandos are super wounded. And the Pekina Warfare can go ahead and capture the central VP. Grenadiers here. They are outgunned, and fighting gets a heavy cover advantage. Plus, there's also a Flamer Squad here, and these guys are pretty bunched up, so that Flamer will do a significant amount of damage. Brumbar?
Forces are securing our territory.
Say a Force Fire Brumbar shot would be quite good, or push into range and then fire. Sukasafus rolls a pretty big miss. Rotation bombs stuns both of these vehicles. That is a critical piece of information. And now we do got a doesn't ram, just barely gets out of range. Sherman Firefly is dead, though the Panther's almost down as well. It needs to use Blitzkrieg to get on out of there. T-34 has recovered. There goes the Panther, but still plenty of fuel and some manpower for the austere player. Nice pickup, but he's going to be dealing with another Command Panther. He's actually focus firing, trying to hit the Cromwell as well. Going for another ram, and gets decrewed. Engine is damaged. Quick focus fire can destroy the T-34. There goes the SU-85 to the AT guns. I think that's it for the Allied players. Nothing to capitalize on the damage engine of the Command Panther. Chromo could go in, but be outgunned and out-supported. There's AT guns support. Gamma Bomb does come on out. Does not decrew the what's called the cannon warfare, and the Brumbar's moving on forward now. Sukasafus barrage coming on in. And wipes out the Flamer conscript. I think that's it for the Allies. Now they're losing infantry squads. The Soviet player has pretty much nothing left. The Brit still has items left. Vehicle crew repair on the Cromwell. Brumbar now sieging the base. Bunker Buster. Triple cap. If we have Axis players, the tickets will count down, and I don't think there's any time to react. Commandos could be called on in, but I don't think there's any structures for them to be called on in. Let alone the lack of manpower. And it looks like they're going to cast in the GG. Overall, overall, the series was not super great. This was the only good game out of the 5. All of them was pretty much